This week in the Fancy Stitch Combo series, I'm going to show you how to work a stitch called raised rib. And I wish there was a better name for this, or I could think of a better name for this, but I can't seem to come up with a name that really nails this stitch because it takes me sentences to explain this stitch. I will tell you this is another stitch that I like because it will lie flat without curling, and it's really interesting looking and really stretchy. I'll do better to show you what it looks like rather than describe it to you. Okay, here it is out of a smooth wool yarn. And what we have going on here, that's why I need sentences to explain it, is these are stitches worked through the back loop, which makes them pop up off the fabric. And then rather than being just a normal knit one, purl one rib, where the other knit rib would be, we have seed stitch going on, which is knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl all the way up. So it's kind of a beaded effect between the knit through the back loop stitches. This stitch, like I said, is really stretchy, but you don't notice it changing at all when you stretch it, except for on the back side. It changes appearance when you stretch it on the back side. Okay, so it's very pretty, a little more decorative than a normal 1x1 rib. Let's take a look at it in some other yarns. You see, I didn't even finish this sample. I didn't block it or do anything to it because I started using this darker fuzzy yarn and the pattern does not show. So I'm going to say you'll get the best results, you'll get the most bang for the buck out of this stitch if you use a smooth and light colored yarn. Fuzzy, darker yarns, it looks like nothing. You can't tell the pattern in it at all. And then to take that to extremes, I use this much lighter colored yarn, much smoother yarn, and you can see this looks really delicate and pretty. I really like how this looks. Again, very stretchy. And the wrong side of this one, it's just kind of more compact. The wrong side of this one really shows the difference when you stretch it out. But totally appropriate for a scarf or for a hat. And the written instructions for working this will be, are in the video description just below the video and on my website. And I will give you instructions for working this in the round as well, if you want to use it on the cuff of a sock or a hat or something. So let's get started. I'm going to stick with this light colored yarn because we already know what happens when I use dark yarn. And I'm going to start on row 2 of the pattern, which is the wrong side row, because I want this to be the wrong side of my cast on. So I'm going to start with knit 1, and then we jump right into the most difficult stitch of the whole pattern, which is purl through the back loop. So you pull your yarn forward because you're going to purl the working yarn forward between the 2 needles. So let's talk about this. A normal purl stitch goes in like this. To purl through the back loop, we have to purl through the back loop, the loop that appears on this side of the work. So to work that, you kind of want to line your needles up and come at the stitch this way. Let me show you that again. You come at the stitch this way. I'll be showing you that again, so don't worry. Wrap it and pull that stitch through and knit 1. Now the pattern repeat is knit 2, purl through the back loop, so you pull the yarn forward between the 2 needles and come at the stitch from the back loop this way. Again, you might want to start with your needles lined up like this, coming at the stitch like this. And then knit 1. Knit 2, yarn forward to purl through the back loop, and knit 1, knit 2, yarn forward, purl through the back loop, and yarn back to knit 1. Now, with the wrong side row behind us, the next row is easy. We're going back to row 1. This is just a 2-row repeat. It's easy to memorize. On the right side rows, we start with a purl 1, put the yarn back between the 2 needles because the next stitch is a knit through the back loop. So a normal knit stitch goes in like this. Knitting through the back loop is just straight through like this. Let's look at that again. Normal knit stitch, knitting through the back loop. Then we go yarn forward to work a purl one, and a yarn back to work a knit one. Okay, that's the pattern repeat. It's purl one, knit through the back loop, purl one, knit one. So yarn forward to purl one, yarn back to knit through the back loop, yarn forward to purl one, yarn back to knit one. There's more to remember on the right side rows, but it's easier than working a purl through the back loop stitch. Purl one, knit through the back loop, purl one, knit one. And you're going to work across the row until you have 3 stitches left. And you will purl one, knit through the back one loop, and purl one. And I don't think I mentioned it, this is worked over a multiple of 4 stitches plus 3. So you can see the pattern already starting to come out. This stitch requires very little blocking to get the results that look like this. It ends up coming out square and looking just like this. And that's it, the raised rib stitch.